In the previous video, linked in the description below, I talked about how we can only know and understand spiritual things through the Spirit of God. Natural human minds must be renewed through the Holy Spirit in order to comprehend the ways of the kingdom. One example of this is from a story found in John 3. A prominent Jewish leader, a Pharisee named Nicodemus, came to see Jesus at night, presumably because he didn't want anyone else to know about their meeting, since most of the other Pharisees didn't believe Jesus was from God. Jesus talked with him about the kingdom of heaven. He said, before a person can perceive God's kingdom realm, they must first experience a rebirth. Nicodemus asked, "Rebirth? How can an old man be reborn? It's impossible for a man to go back into the womb a second time and be reborn." Jesus answered, "I speak an eternal truth. Unless you are born of water and spirit, you will never enter God's kingdom realm. For the natural realm can only give birth to things that are natural, but the spiritual realm gives birth to supernatural life. You shouldn't be amazed by my statement. You must be born from above." How did Jesus, the son of a carpenter, know these things? It is because he was taught directly by the Holy Spirit. You can tell Jesus had a relationship with the Holy Spirit because he goes on to say, "The wind blows as it chooses. You can hear its sound, but you don't know where it came from or where it's going. So it is within the hearts of those who are born of the Spirit." Then Nicodemus replied, "But I don't understand. What do you mean? How does this happen?" Since Nicodemus did not know the Holy Spirit and was primarily taught by people, he could not comprehend what Jesus was talking about. Jesus answered, "Nicodemus, aren't you the respected teacher in Israel, and yet you don't understand this revelation? I speak eternal truths about things I know, things I've seen and experienced, and still you don't accept what I reveal. If you're unable to understand and believe what I've told you about the natural realm, what will you do when I begin to unveil the heavenly realm?" Nicodemus was confused and perhaps even offended by what he was hearing. He was a man who devoted his life to studying the Scriptures, serving God, and teaching others about faith, but he had no idea what Jesus was saying. This is a stark example of the difference between a natural carnal mind and a supernatural kingdom mind renewed by the Holy Spirit. When people believe in Jesus and receive the Holy Spirit, they experience the latter. However, it is possible to be a Christian and still see things from an earthly perspective. Just because we have the potential to hear the Holy Spirit and be taught by Him does not mean we actually do. It requires an intentional choice to learn from Him and believe what He says. Being a disciple is not about adherence to religious principles. It is connection to a divine relationship. The more we are taught by God, the less strange the supernatural will become. As our minds are illumined by the revelations of the Holy Spirit, we will know the truth. Jesus concludes his conversation with Nicodemus by saying, "Those who love the truth will come out into the light and welcome its exposure." Bless you to live in the light of the Holy Spirit and be transformed by the renewing of your mind.